why do we sometimes idealize our partner? This is the topic of today's video, and as a relationship counselor, I want to warn you of obviously the toxic element of idealizing a partner. And obviously, my job is to, of course, I'm a therapist, is to help people heal and get better. But when I make those videos is to help you understand how we function, help you understand how your brain works. And by doing so, taking action, reclaiming control. I'll discuss those elements in this video.
igetmyexback.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
So first of all, to me, and it's very personal, but let me know if you can relate, if you agree with this definition. To me, being in love is to admire this person. And I think it's one of the key elements of the what makes people attracted to each other. But when you admire someone, there's always an element of comparison of you versus me. And the thing with love is that we are usually attracted to people who have qualities that we don't have. Maybe you never know this. Maybe you just realize that. But look at your different relationships. Maybe all your partners were different. Maybe they were all the same. But I can guarantee you that there's an element of them, some traits of character, some qualities, some things that they can do that you feel you're not able to do. That you feel, I wish I had that skill set. I wish I could be, confident in public speaking. I wish I could be so analytical. I wish I'd be, smart. I wish I could reflect on this. It's very important because this is why sometimes we idealize our partner, because this admiration becomes a little bit toxic. Spoiler alert, the ideal partner doesn't exist. We're going to talk about the ideal partner, because when we admire someone, sometimes we feel that this person is the one. It's the ideal person, the ideal relationship. Let's discuss those things. Let's discuss those elements. So first of all, love is a drug. So one element of that makes people idealize the relationship is usually at the beginning of a relationship, what we call the infatuation stage, where it's very high in dopamine, oxytocin. We are really high. We're high, and because we're high, studies have shown that being in love affects our judgment. And we tend to see the relationship with rose-colored glasses. Right? So it's a very well-documented phenomenon. It's when you're in love with someone, that person is amazing. That person is, the ideal person. Everything is amazing with that person. That usually don't last. After 6-9 months max, it's hard not to look at those shortcomings as the entirety of the person, and we start to discover other aspects of that person. And the same with you, you feel that you're on your A game, and at some stage, and it's normal, after 6 or 9 months, you tend to be more of yourself. You don't pretend anymore. And that's normal, because love becomes compassion. So it's important to understand this aspect, that sometimes because we are so addicted to this feeling of love, of the passion, we tend to try to entertain this. And that's not natural, that's not normal. It's normal to, when you're an adult and grown up and you want to develop and you want to have a committed relationship, it's normal to transition from infatuation stage to passionate love to compassionate love. Second element is that we project our desires. And I put the image of this game that you've probably seen, and if you have kids that you've probably had at home, of, you need to put a square in a square, a circle in a circle, a triangle in a triangle. And when we date someone, and it's very hard not to do it, is we project, right? We want to craft this person to our ideal partner. We project our own desires, our own hopes. And when we do that, again, we are idealizing the partner. Remember, this person is unique, you are unique. The only thing that you can work on is obviously, when it comes to change, it's about how you can communicate, how you can connect with this person on a deeper level. then if they're not a square and you want them to fit in a circle, stop obsessing about those things. Another element is cognitive dissonance. So this one is a very famous bias that I mentioned a lot in my videos. It's the idea that because we've invested a lot of time, a lot of energy, we make the unconscious, sometimes it's conscious, but unconscious effort to idealize this partner, to make it real. We tend to disregard the red flags, the things that they say, and we over-focus on their qualities. What happens is sometimes after a breakup, so I do a lot of videos about breakups, we do that. We idealize our partner, we put them on a pedestal after the breakup because they are gone, and we tend to, our self-esteem has been knocked out, and we feel like, okay, I want this person back because he or she is the ideal person because I don't have them. So this element of trying to really, again, putting the square in a triangle where you idealize, you try to force things because of this cognitive dissonance element. Another very important element, another very common element in this Disney romantic comedies, the idealization of love. And I'm a strong believer, and perhaps things would change, that relationship counselors wouldn't have that many clients if in the collective imagination, in the way we portrayed love, if it was more realistic. And so when in these movies, the relationship, sort of the end of the movies are always starting when they get married, where it's just a starting point and where things get serious. So the thing is, sometimes because we want our relationship to look as if it's a fairy tale, again, we try to project, we try to put some traits to make it sort of match those imaginary stories. And I put the hashtag stories we tell ourselves. I love this idea, and I think it's very empowering and also useful to realize that we are telling ourselves stories. You are telling yourself stories, I'm telling myself stories. The problem is looking at those stories, trying to make sense of those stories, where they're coming from, are they helping me? What do they also mean? How can I learn about myself when I listen to those stories? I'm passionate by storytelling, and I will try to do a lot of more storytelling on this channel, but it's very important, not only the internal but also the external stories. Anyway, contrast. Again, it's the element of when you compare with another relationship, maybe you had an abusive or difficult relationship and this partner is different. This partner is a keeper. He's the one, she's the one. Quick reminder, being nice, attentionate, caring, that doesn't mean your partner is a perfect partner. He's just a partner, right? So it's really about how you can adjust your baseline, and perhaps you had a difficult time dating. Maybe it's difficult for you to date where you live, or because you feel that you're too old, and by the way, it's never too old to date nowadays. And you meet that person who is genuinely nice and you feel, oh yeah, he or she is the one. Well, let's give it a try. Let's assess. Stop idealizing that partner and do this instead. Oh, there's another slide before the end. Self-esteem and validation, obviously it's really linked, and it's very common amongst people who have an anxious attachment style. The belief that we are not good when we don't have the validation. We're not good enough, and therefore I need someone to validate that I can be loved, I can be worthy. And when we are in that mindset, obviously we put ourselves down and our partner on a pedestal or superior level. So being in a relationship is not a blessing. Being in a relationship with that person, yes, there's an element of admiration, but don't idealize this partner because, as I said right at the beginning, The perfect partner doesn't exist. The perfect person doesn't exist. And you have to accept this. You have to accept your element of imperfectness, and you have to accept the same for your partner as well. Simple image to remember. And this is something that needs to be stuck. And you need to take this away with you. What you have to do is value the relationship, is value your partner, not idealizing them. And the simple image is like, I'm pretty sure you don't idealize your friends. I'm pretty sure you don't idealize those relationships. You value them because they're important in your life. And obviously, as a relationship counselor, I know better than anyone how valuable relationships are. But valuing something is different than idealizing that thing. Obviously, there's an element of unconscious drives. It's important for you to reflect. Reflect on those elements that I discussed, those 5 things that I discussed. Understand that these are creating toxic patterns with your relationship, whether you're in the context of breakup, whether you're in a relationship. It's important because otherwise, what you're going to do is you're going to entertain a limited belief about yourself. The belief that you're not good enough, the belief that this person is better than you. Nobody is better than you. That doesn't work like this. You have your own worth, you're unique, they're unique. It's a question of collaboration. It's a question of being on the same page at the same level. If you have any questions on that, let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you next time. Take care.
Power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer.